Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Chris, and I'm part of Team MACK. MACK stands for Modular Coding, Agile Methodologies, Continuous Integration, and Knowledge of Backend and Front-End Development. Our team today is going to be demonstrating an inventory application that we have created. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to go ahead and show you some functionality of our page. So right here, you can go ahead and see our page that we have deployed. And let's go ahead and just test out that some basic functionality works. So first, we can see that we can view all items here in our inventory. Now, if I want to view an individual item, I'll go ahead and click on it. We see that it appears here. We can see a nice description of that individual item. If we want to maybe test out if we can update this item, let's try to do that. So let's remove the men's from here. So if I take that out and update, when I refresh this page, you see that it did update it indeed. Let's go ahead and fix that and put men's back into that description. Update it again. Awesome. Okay, so we can see that we can indeed update an item, view an individual item. How about creating an item? Let's test if we can do that. I went ahead and have some pre-filled descriptions and items here. So I'm going to add this here. So let's go ahead and create that item. And we can see that it did indeed create that item. Awesome. Now, I don't really want this in our inventory, so I want to remove it. So let's go ahead and open that up. We're going to go ahead and delete this. So let's click delete. We get a nice little verification box over here. And let's click OK. And it looks like it did indeed delete it. So there's some basic functionality of our page here, some basic things that you can do in this inventory page. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Alex, who's going to go over the different tests that we created with this inventory app. Thank you. All right, so right here we have our deployed page. This is our Mac inventory store. Now, let's go through some basic functionalities to see if everything is working correctly. So firstly, we want to make sure that we can see all items, which we can. We can see all the items in our inventory here. If we want to view an individual item, we can go ahead and just click on it. And there we go. We're seeing all the information for this individual item. We can see some buttons here on the right-hand side where we can do different things, where we can go ahead and edit. So if we wanted to edit this item, we can go ahead and click edit, change any of this information. Let's make sure that this is actually working. So if I were to go ahead and just take that off, we click update. Let's see if that does something. If I were to open this, we see that it did indeed update that. Let's go ahead and change it back to what it was. Go ahead and update that. Here we go, back to what we wanted it to. So we can see that opening, seeing a single item works. We can go ahead and also view and edit an individual item. Now, let's say we didn't really like this item. Let's say we want to delete this item. We can go ahead and click this delete button. Button comes up to make sure that we want to make this decision. And you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't want this in my inventory anymore. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And you see it go ahead and went ahead and deleted that item from our inventory. So that's some basic functionality of our page. We can also create a new item. I can go ahead and create one here and see and test if this works out. I have some pre-filled information already from an item that I tried to add before. So go ahead and click create. I'll go ahead and refresh our page here. You can see that it created that item. Now, I don't feel like this is very accurate and I don't really want this in our inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and also delete this. Perfect. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to Alex, who's going to go over our test and reviewing the test with everyone. Thank you.
Hey y'all, Alex here. I was in charge of the tests and making sure everything ran smoothly between the routes and the endpoints. So let's get right into it. So first we'll start with the model test, and this is just a test for the models to make sure they are functional and items can be created. So here's create order, user, item, and then we also have sauces. Okay, so now going on to items test. And this test that our routes can create, read, update, and delete, in which all 9 were ran between item tests and model tests, and they all passed. However, our biggest success story actually came from Postman. So Postman allowed us to test the endpoints fast and effectively. It also allowed us to debug and make sure everything ran smoothly. And here we can test them out. So let's go ahead and get, and it gets all the items from the database. We can also do sauces if we wanted to. Again, it shows all the sauces. Let's go ahead and stick with items. Quick demonstration here. And as you see, these two are duplicate. So we want to delete one. So we want to delete number one, enter that, boom, deleted. Okay. Back, and as you see, it's not there no more, but if we wanted to add it back, in which I already copied and pasted that there, we would post and it would be there. Okay, now say if we wanted to edit, right? Let's say t-shirt, and boom, it is edited. Go there, we can now see it says t-shirt. So all the endpoints worked, and again, using Postman allowed us to debug when needed and allowed us to test the endpoints fast and effectively to make sure our application works as a whole. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Kelvin, and he can go more in depth. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. In this segment, we're going to go over the full stack trace for the delete item feature in our application. The item view component you see here represents the features in the user's interface. Item view displays the item details and includes the delete button between lines 39 and 44. When the delete button is clicked, it calls the onDelete function pass as a prop. In addition, it will also pop up a delete confirmation window and reload the page once confirmed. Let's take a look at our Express API route. The delete item function in the app component interacts with the Express API route. This code defines an asynchronous function called delete item that sends a delete request to a specified API endpoint to remove an item with a given item ID. If the deletion is successful, it updates the local state item to reflect the removal of the item. Let's look at our endpoint now. In lines 42 to 53 is the route handler for a delete request, which deletes an item with a specific ID from a database. It finds the item by its ID, deletes it if found, and sends a 204 status code indicating success with no content to send back. Finally, in this code, SQLize is used in the server-side code to interact with the database. The server-side code would define SQLize models for the items and use these models in the API routes to perform CRUD operations. Thank you for listening, and now we will continue with Michael.
Hey, thanks, Calvin. I'm going to go through quickly the design features and why we chose them. So we went with a card basis that gives the image and the title so that people can find things rather quickly. If you're looking for a ring, you can see that there's the rings here, it's so forth. So once you click on it, it auto scrolls to the top of the page and opens up a detailed view with the description and the name, and then all of the options you have here. The create new item is in its own sphere. It could have probably been placed in a, I don't know, better place. But where it is now is still really good. You can click edit and it'll open a form next to it. You can also click create new item and the form appears here. Now, one thing that I would have changed if I had a little bit more time and put a little bit more thought into it is maybe changing like the colors of these forms. Like the update would be yellow and the create new item might be green with a green button or something like that. So it would give a little bit more clarity to the user experience as to what they're doing, because we don't want someone editing when they're trying to create, and that could really cause some problems in like their pipe flow. But overall, I think everything worked really good. It looks clear and concise. May not be like the prettiest thing in the world, but it is functional and clear to the user experience. I'm going to pass it over to Chris so he can close this out. Thank you.
All right, awesome. So now to wrap up, I'm going to go into some project management tips and what we did as far as project management goes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again and share our project board. So over here, you can see our project board. So something that I would say that definitely helped us out from the very beginning is having this project board. We organize our tasks here, and this is where we identified and distributed what tasks needed to get done. Definitely a learning lesson for us is being more specific with our tasks. In the beginning, we didn't specify exactly what needed to get done, which resulted in a lot of merge conflicts in our files. So we fixed that immediately by having more specific tasks and identifying which files needed to work on. That way, everyone can kind of work on individual files, and there never has to be the risk of merge conflicts. So that definitely helped out a lot, and I would recommend doing that for the future. I would do that differently next time, is to be more specific with the tasks and make sure that all the tasks that are distributed are divided by the files that need to be worked on. That's something that I would recommend. Here you can also see some of the changes that we made and all of the pull requests that we submitted for all of the different tasks that we did. This is how we were able to stay on track. And once we implemented the different strategy on how to distribute the tasks, we didn't run into any merge conflicts or any issues. And the rest of the process of creating this application was pretty smooth sailing. So definitely that helped us a lot, and I would recommend that. So thanks again for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.